Hi, everyone. It's a Ticket to Christ, and we're talking about just really focusing in on our families during the holiday season. It could be your immediate family, people that you consider family, your church family, just your inner circle relationship, the people who are around you. And a lot of times people are thinking, well, that's a given, but I don't think it's a given. I think a lot of times we can take friends and family that we live with for granted. People can do that and not put in the effort or not be as conscious of those relationships of what you build in. And I've seen situations whereby then things, children don't become Christians or things get fractured and one person is surprised. And so I think it's a good time to use the holidays to take it up a notch, to build those relationships. And in thinking about how close family relationships or close relationships with other Christians can really help, I think of this situation here with Peter. Remember, Peter had denied Jesus and, 3 times before the rooster crowed. Right? And then he ran out and left and wept bitterly. But we see here in John 21, after Jesus rose, right? It says, after these things, Jesus showed himself again to the disciples at the Sea of Tiberias, and on this wise showed he himself. There were together Simon Peter and Thomas, called Didymus, and Nathaniel of Cana in Galilee, and the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other of his disciples. So that was quite a group. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So seven people, because the sons of Zebedee are James and John, right? And so you have some of them are the apostles to the Lamb, which Peter and Thomas are, and the sons of Zebedee are. Maybe the 2 other disciples are, I don't know. But I don't think Nathaniel was an apostle, but he was the one that Jesus mentioned in the start of John. I think it's John chapter 1 or 2, in which Jesus said that there was nothing, he was a true Israelite, right? There was nothing false in him, right? And so, but we see that Peter, still, you see that relationship that he had with them in verse 3, Simon Peter said unto them, I go a fishing. They say unto him, we also go with thee. They went forth and entered into a ship immediately that night. They caught nothing. And so you see Peter still, kind of being take charge, the one who's a doer, taking the helm. So it looks like they were all fishermen. So they all had the same worldly profession. And so they had natural things in common, natural hobbies. And I think as well, a lot of times that's how our relationships develop, when we have things in common, right? Beyond just being disciples of Jesus. Being disciples of Jesus won't necessarily make you enjoy the same hobbies, right? Or have the same interests or be at the same season or time in your life. But here with this group, we see that. And so I think that it's a good time to nurture and foster relationships with your friends as well in the faith. Going out to lunch, hanging out, taking time out to spend time together as well, to build those Christian family relationships. They might not be blood relatives, but they're just as important, because these are people that really can help you persevere during tough times. Like with Peter, he was not ostracized from the group. Even when we read in, I think it was in John 20, when Jesus rose, I think it's John 20, when Mary Magdalene went to tell, she went running for Peter and John. So Peter was still a part of the relationships, were still there, so no one shunned Peter because he had denied Jesus 3 times. So we see that close fellowship, that close friendship, that they still kept that. And I think that could have been a source of help and comfort for the 3 days while Jesus was gone, was in the grave, right, until Jesus rose again. And so I think some of the things to think about is, how can I really pull into my relationships, my friendships? How can I be more encouraging? How can I be a better friend? And with family members, how can I be a better son or daughter? How can I be a better husband or wife? How can I be a better in-law or neighbor, or any of the things that, as far as it depends on you to do, that you can do, or an employee, with colleagues, what can you do to, show grace, mercy, empathy? There are times which people are not really receptive. So if you're in that situation, just really praying for them, though, that's what you can do. If people are not receptive to you, they want to, have a friendship or a relationship with you for whatever the reason, it's usually because of Christ. Either the world is not going to like you because of Christ, and they're going to say, there's something about her I just don't like. Sometimes it's that they're demonic, and they don't like the spirituality in you. They don't like your righteousness. They don't like that you have integrity. That bothers them. Or sometimes it's religious. If you have family members who are in a different type of church, and that they don't agree, or their church is rigid, or their church is that it's about going to their church or no church, and they are not going to give you the right hand of the fellowship because you believe in following the Lord Jesus Christ directly and according to the word. That's also, those things can hinder getting close or having close relationships with family members, because there's some denominations that feel like they're the only ones saved, and if you're not in their denomination, you're not saved, right? They have put themselves in the position of Christ and put a hindrance to the flock from having fellowship with others that are not in their particular denomination. So that can be a hindrance. That type of situation, you just have to love unconditionally and just be a light, and the Lord will vindicate you and show that He is with you in times to come, right? Holidays are also an opportunity to really build up your own household, create newness, create, cleanliness, making sure it's clean, making sure that you have the things that that your husband or your wife would appreciate stocked up, and just being thoughtful. And sometimes it's just a matter of taking time to pray and to ask the Lord to put on your heart things that you can do to really inspire, encourage your children or your husband or wife or your parents, or to bring to mind any situation that you might not be aware of that you should be paying attention to. Because sometimes we're so distracted by the details of life, we can become forgetful. So beloved, this is something that I wanted to touch on today, just about continuing to just have that focus for this holiday season of pulling into our family tight and really trying to, take things up a notch, or if they're not there, build bridges or kind of rebuild things that might have been broken down or torn down. That is it from me today. I hope this is giving you a lot of food for thought, or some ideas, or putting things in your heart in a way that maybe you never thought of before. Have a great day. Bye-bye.